yeah, that's really coming out nice.
Good morning, everybody. We are here at Meadowbrook, and I've got a fun little project we are about to start. We have a food plot we're just now putting in. My buddy Josh came in earlier, sprayed the grass. My Uncle Tim is coming in just a little bit with his tractor. He's going to help me break up the ground. We're going to spread some seeds, and hopefully we'll turn this kind of deer corridor into more of a deer haven, someplace they feel safe, someplace they can find food after all the winter foliage has kind of been plowed through and eaten up already. So we're going to turn this into a winter food plot for the deer. I'm hoping. We'll see what we got going on. The plan, you can see there's two little patches, one back there, one up here, and I'm not sure what we're going to put where. We've got a deer blind back in the trees there, so I think we'll do some sort of brassica mix on one, maybe some winter beets in the other, radishes. I don't quite know yet. We bought some seed, and I'll talk to Tim. He is the resident deer expert in the family, so he'll have some input. He'll let us know what we should do. Honestly, in this situation, the goal is to learn what the deer like to eat. And I think by just doing some here, some there, it doesn't matter what goes where because we can see it all from the blind. After a season, hopefully we'll get to know what our deer here prefer, whether it's the radishes, whether it's the brassica combo, whatever they start to eat, we're gonna plant more of. So it's an experiment. We'll see what's going on. I've got a little bit of work to do before Tim shows up, so let me get to that. So I'm here in the home office, and I'm still getting used to this whole do the work, tell the story, do the filming all at the same time deal, and I'm not really good at it quite yet. So I feel like I did the filming and I did the work, but I didn't really explain what's going on. So you get a voiceover. Essentially, I talked to Tim, and he recommended that I get all the grass pulled off of the food plots before he runs his tractor through. It'll help the equipment, so on and so on. So I get maybe a quarter of the way done with one of the food plots, which might be a quarter acre, no, a half, before Tim arrives, right on schedule. And when Tim does arrive, he brings his wife, Lenny, which I wasn't expecting, but is super cool. So I get chit-chatting with her, I get chit-chatting with Tim being a super talkative guy by default. And here I am this whole time not recording, but chit-chatting the whole time. So Tim finally gets his tractor unhooked, and we get it down to the field, which, might be a 200, 400 yard drive with all the twists and turns in there. I'm super thankful, again, for Tim, for all the equipment that he brought down. Just that tiny bit of raking. I mean, it took me maybe half hour, 45 minutes to do that tiny little bit, and I was just exhausted. It wasn't all that hot, but man, when that sun beat down on you, it was just baking, and I was sweating to death. So Tim arrived at just the perfect time and starts looking for rocks with what I believe is the cultivator. I'm half city boy. I'm mostly a city boy, so I don't really know anything about tractors or all this equipment. So Tim had to show me exactly what to do and how to drive the tractor, what levers to pull to lift the equipment in the rear. So when you turn, it doesn't bend and snap. But essentially, we're just raking the whole property looking for rocks. So when we attach the tiller, it doesn't bend or break the tines there. But this cultivator, I'm going to call it a cultivator the entire time. Again, tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. But essentially, the cultivator did a phenomenal job at pulling off the grass. So I essentially didn't have to do that raking that I did. I guess it was just for character. It built some muscles. It exercised my body a little bit. You can see it got pretty jam-packed, but we took care of that. I'm going to tell you what, if you guys do not have a mentor, if you do not have an uncle, a friend, somebody who absolutely loves seeing you succeed at something new, like deer hunting. Tim is the guy that pretty much got me started in all of this. My buddy Josh, who wasn't able to be here today, was another huge factor. Awesome teachers, awesome opportunists. They invite you out. They drive an hour and bring a tractor to help you make a food plot on a chunk of land that they're not even hunting. That is the kind of person that everybody needs. So if you are able to be this person for somebody else, I cannot wait for that day to come where I can get a new person into hunting, to drive an hour to help them plant a food plot. I'd be over the moon to get to that point at someday where I think I actually know enough to share and teach somebody. Tim has just gone above and beyond, like with all the success, helping me get where I am today. Everybody, find yourself a Tim. Be a Tim for somebody if you're able, but just get invested in new hunters, get them out in the land, and let's teach, let's share, spread the wealth.
So once we get done with the cultivating, checking for rocks and pulling the grass off, it is time to attach the tiller to break up the ground a bit more and get it ready for the seeds. We were planning on doing this with a hand tiller that my dad had, which would have taken ages, such a long time. Speaking of my dad, he also showed up through this process, which was not a big surprise. I knew he was coming, but again, another distraction in the filming / storytelling department. And I just now realized and apologize that I did not introduce either of these men to you. Tim is the guy driving the tractor, handling all the equipment. My dad is the bearded gentleman and sower of the seeds you'll see here in a little bit. But again, Tim walked me through some of the stages here of driving the tractor with the tiller on the back. Super fun to get into more the mechanics, it's the hands-on part that I really cherish, that I'm starting to love. You know, hunting takes it one step down the road of, you know, getting to know your food, respecting your food. And I feel like creating this food plot and actually working the land myself just took me, you know, one step even further down that road of respecting what we have going on in the woods and helping to manage it and maintain it and produce a healthier ecosystem for virtually everything there on the property. I'm not sure if the ducks and geese, so on and so forth, will love this food plot as much as the deer, but I think it's all connected. So if you do good by one, you're doing good by a whole lot more than just the one. Super monotonous work, just going back and forth, but Tim was really insistent on getting the ground to the best possible state we could. He says the more work and the more time and the more energy we put into it right now, the easier it's going to be in the future. So food plot for 2021 season and beyond is going to be a whole lot faster, a whole lot easier to get going. Obviously the cultivator did not find all the rocks, and as Tim would dig some up, my dad and I were in charge of picking those up and tossing them out.
Yeah, here's the deal. We've got deer radish and then winter beets and sugar beets.
So
winter bulbs and sugar beets.
I don't think you want to mix these two. I think they'll compete with each other.
Right.
Yeah. So the radishes will be a fast grower.
This has got radish, clover, ryegrass, and rape.
Yep. So I think you want to, your radishes though, I think if you read it, it tells you not to compete with a whole lot of stuff.
Right.
This does a quarter acre.
Yeah.
So it would.
Well, my thought, I kind of wanted
do.
to experiment and see what they liked better. If you've got a preference, if you think this will do better.
What I would
We
do
can
is
do
I
that.
would put this one in there and then put that one over there.
So the deer radish in one plot and then the
But
mix.
we've already got radish in this one.
Well,
Radish, clover, rape, and
that one got
ryegrass.
rid of sugar beet. That's what. Yeah. What you don't have here, I'd put there, but I would separate them. This is what I planted at home.
Okay.
My whole field's this.
So you could put this in one, and then you could put half of this in the
That's
other one, and
exactly
save
what
the
I
half
would
for
do.
next year.
Exactly what I would do. Yeah.
Let's do
I
it.
think that'll be great. And then if you want to, since we don't have a drag, we'll lift this up. Once you get it in the ground, if you just want to slowly drive this over the field. And let me give you some other advice. Walk out there in the middle and start, because this thing's going to throw. You don't want half your seed in your grass.
True.
Yeah, this will probably do a 10-foot stretch, I'm guessing. On ours, it was kind of hard you cranked.
Well, the same here, but
yeah.
So I just tell you, if you've never used one, start in the middle of your field.
So here's the plan. We're gonna do one plot winter bulb sugar beet, one plot radish, clover, ryegrass, and rape, and we'll see what the deer like better.
These shouldn't be real big, they're pretty tiny.
It's close.
Ready?
Yep.
They just make you feel good. This has got a zipper, zip it closed, so if you drop it.
We don't drop stuff.
So the seed spreader deal kind of speaks for itself. Not a whole lot of explaining to do here, just trying to keep up with my dad, who is just hauling butt. He grew up on a farm, so he's used to just getting in there, getting things done, moving on to the next thing. And here I am slowing him down and wanting to take footage, and take photos and take video, and wait, let me slap it into slow motion mode. Let me do this, let me do that. I feel really bad for almost making my dad and Tim do most of the work. But they are just phenomenal role models and, phenomenal at respecting what it is I do. So they love and respect the fact that, I'm putting the time and energy into making this channel. But I did a little work here and there. So you'll see me behind the tractor and behind the seed spreader just a tiny bit. But the rest of the time I'm behind the camera. Huge shout out to my Aunt Lenny, who womaned the camera and filmed me actually doing work. The rest of the time I was behind the camera just watching and trying to keep up with the team. So after we got done spreading the seeds, Tim recommended that we take these rakes and basically just push dirt over the seed. He had some experiences in the past with his food plots where the crows and other birds would just come in and just annihilate the field. So they would come in and eat all the seeds before they had a chance to grow. So here we are covering the seeds up. And of course we had to do a manly walk off the field shot, kind of showing the three of us.
All right, that is the day. It took maybe a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I had no idea really. It went infinitely smoother with my dad and my uncle helping than if I were to do it myself. So I cannot thank them enough. Thank you so much for helping me out. Again, if you're able to mentor, help out a new hunter, please do it. My uncle, my best friend Josh, have done a phenomenal job getting me to where I am today. Definitely could not have done the food plot today without my uncle. So huge thanks to all of you who are helping other hunters succeed. Thanks for tuning in. We will be back to show you the success or failure of the food plot as soon as I can.